You find the ad on a dark corner of the internet. Not the dark web, just the forgotten part of Reddit, a subreddit with 200 members and no moderator. The post reads, "Memory consultant needed. Discretion required. $500 per session." You don't know what that means, but you need rent money. You message the number. 3 days pass. Then a reply. Tuesday, 9 p.m. Bring nothing, say nothing to anyone. The address is a mid-rise apartment in downtown Chicago. Clean building, normal elevator, unit 4F. You knock. A man in his 50s opens the door. Suit, no tie, eyes that have seen too much. He doesn't shake your hand. He says, "Sit." There's a chair in the center of an otherwise empty room, a laptop, a folder, a glass of water. He explains it simply. People come to him with memories they can't live with. Not trauma therapy, not hypnosis, deletion. He's developed a method, a combination of guided cognitive restructuring, pharmacological assistance, and what he calls narrative erasure. It works. Your job, for now, is simple. You collect intake forms. You greet the clients. You make sure they sign the consent waiver before they sit in that chair. That's it. $500 cash every Tuesday. You take the job. Level 2. What you start to see. Week 2. Your first client is a woman in her 40s, designer coat, shaking hands. She won't look at you when she signs the form. The form has one question that you keep reading over and over. The memory you wish to have removed, blank. She writes 3 words. You don't mean to read them, but you do. You never forget those 3 words. You pour her the water. You smile. You say, "He'll be with you shortly." She goes in. She comes out 40 minutes later. Different. Not broken, not blank, just lighter. Like something heavy had been quietly removed from her coat pockets. She thanks you. She doesn't remember your name by the time she reaches the elevator. You tell yourself that's fine. Week 3 brings a man who can't stop crying before the session. Week 4 brings someone who doesn't look old enough to have memories this heavy. You start to understand that grief isn't just about the dead. Sometimes it's about what you did, what you watched happen, what you chose not to stop. The doctor, you still don't know his real name, starts trusting you more. He lets you sit in on the intake interviews. You learn the method, not officially, just by watching. Level 3. You learn the craft. By month 2, you understand the framework. The method isn't magic, it's precise. First, the client describes the memory in full detail, every sensory element, the smell of the room, the temperature, the exact word spoken. This is called surfacing. Then, while the memory is active and unstable, a brief pharmacological window, the doctor begins the narrative rewrite. He doesn't destroy the memory, he replaces it. A different ending, a different emotional context, a story where the client was not present, not responsible, not there. The brain, given the right conditions, accepts the edit. In 6 weeks, the original memory degrades completely. It's gone. You are watching human beings have pieces of themselves surgically removed, and the scary part? It looks like relief. The doctor notices your interest. He starts explaining the science after each session. One night, over cold coffee, he says, "The brain doesn't distinguish between what happened and what it believes happened. We're just editors." You nod, but something shifts in you that night, something that won't shift back.
Level 4. Your first solo session. 3 months in. The doctor gets a call mid-session. Emergency. Family. The client is already in the chair, already in the pharmacological window. The window only lasts 22 minutes. The doctor looks at you. You've watched enough. The script is in the folder. Don't deviate. And he leaves. You sit across from a middle-aged man who is somewhere between asleep and open, eyes half closed, breathing slow. He can hear you. He can respond, but he has no defenses right now. You are holding the folder. You open it. You begin. Your voice is steady. You don't know why. You follow the script exactly, word for word. 17 minutes later, you close the folder. You pour the water. He comes back, looks around, blinks, asks if the session is over. You say yes. He says he feels better. He doesn't know why, but he does.
Level 5. Word gets out. 4 months in, one of the clients recommends you to a friend, not the doctor, you. They want you specifically. They heard you were younger, less clinical, easier to talk to. You tell the doctor. He raises an eyebrow. He offers you a split, 60-40, his favor. You do the session, then another, then 3 in a week. By month 5, you have your own clients, your own intake forms, your own process. The doctor teaches you the pharmacological component, legal, technically, a compound used in some European clinical settings, gray market in the US. You source it through a contact he introduces you to, a man who only communicates through encrypted messages and only takes payment in one specific cryptocurrency. You tell yourself this is still medicine. You tell yourself these people came to you. The money is now $2,000 a session. You move to a better apartment. You buy a better coat. You stop checking Reddit for other jobs.
Level 6. The clients change. 6 months in. Your early clients were grieving people, victims, people carrying guilt. Now the clients are different. A man who needs a business partner to forget a conversation that happened in a parking garage in Phoenix. A woman who needs her sister to stop remembering what their father did, not for the sister's sake, for the family's reputation. A politician's aide who arrives with no name, pays in cash, and won't tell you the full context. You do the intake. You learn just enough. You tell yourself it's not your job to judge. The doctor pulls you aside after the parking garage client leaves. He says, "You know what that was." You say nothing. He says, "That's a witness. Someone is paying us to erase a witness." You say it's not your fault what the client chooses to forget. The doctor goes quiet for a long moment. Then he says, "I built this to help people heal, not to help people hide." You don't respond, but you already know. Those lines blurred 3 clients ago. Level 7.